What's up, everybody? James Ziegler here, aka the Chiseler. Just here to share another story with you guys. A little bit of me with you. Um, just sharing, my personal life with you guys, so y'all get to know who I am and know all about me. Today I'll be talking about just going over, who I am. I was, born in Oakland, California, Alameda County, Kaiser Hospital, Highland Hospital, and you know my um, and yeah, but I wasn't really raised there. I can't really say I was raised in one specific area, location. Kind of jumped around all my life from state to state. Never really had grounding or a specific place to call home or whatever. But I remember living in California for a while after I was born, or through photos is kind of how I remember. But I remember being at a house and being there for a little bit, and then I burned down the house. Burned down the house with a lighter. My mom was home at the time. She was on the phone. And my two little brothers and my sister was at school, and obviously my dad at work at the time. And I picked up one of my mom's lighters and was walking around the house, lighting up everything, trying to see what would catch on fire. The curious mind was going, lighting up my mom was in the living room on the phone. She was, busy on the phone or whatever. And I guess we was, having playtime or whatever, me and my brothers. So I was I was in the kitchen, lighting up the kitchen counter, lighting up the table, lighting up the chairs. Just trying to light everything, curious to the mind to see what would catch on fire or what would take more time, that to catch on fire or whatever. And then I got to the underneath the kitchen cabinet, and that's where my mom stored all the groceries from when we went grocery shopping. That's so I lit that up, and it caught on fire, and my two little brothers was right there beside me, and we was just watching the fire and the flames, and it started rising up and shot up through the sink underneath the counters, and then the fire got all the way up to the ceiling, and then my mom, she said she started seeing the little floaties of the little bags that was caught on fire, reaching into the living room where she was at. And by that time she ran in there, and the fire was just so out of control. She grabbed my two little brothers in her little, and told me to go close all the doors and run outside. And and the whole house caught on fire. I didn't get in trouble for that, unfortunately. I never did it again, but I never really got in trouble, just because we had got a new house out of it. And I guess the fire department, they determined it was an electrical spark that sparked underneath the cabinet and caught the bags on fire. And or my mom lied about it, I don't know, but that's what she told me. but yeah, so that was like the first house I remember living at in California. And that was, you know, a comfortable home, and my dad was working. And then we ended up moving to Georgia, or like that's like the next home that I remember living at. And that's where I think that's where my mom left my dad. He was cheating on her with prostitutes, and came home and gave my mom chlamydia, and that's what she told us. And so she decided to leave. And I mean, I guess I can imagine she, you know, always knew or assumed that to be the case. But when she actually got the disease of chlamydia, it just like was confirming of the situation or whatever. But so she said I remember she told us to gather up all our things and just what we need, a few pieces of clothes and things like that, and we leaving, and we left in the middle of the night while he was at work. And I remember going to a shelter that night, and then after that night, I just remember shelter after shelter, and life was, you know, I mean, through my eyes, it was rough. It was a struggle seeing my mom, you know, figure life out and try to get back on her feet, and yeah, not every shelter was nice. Obviously, the first one we went to was pretty rough because it was an immediate place that we needed to go to that was available. And then we went to like a women's shelter after that, but that was still kind of run down. And then we ended up going to a more nicer shelter, where we ended up going to school out of the shelter for a while because she needed some time to gather a plan and save some money or whatever. And, you know, we was going to school, and she would be out and about, and, you know, making her plan to get a house, or, you know, get her aid or things of that nature. And then the next thing I remember was going to Virginia. Not too sure how we made the jump from Arizona to Virginia, or not Arizona, Georgia to Virginia. I mean, obviously those states are within the area of each other, but yeah, I just remember the next thing is being in Virginia, and then we had like a little apartment, but we ain't have nothing in it. And in that apartment, that's basically the first time my mom had like a mental episode or whatever. You know, she got diagnosed with schizophrenia. And I was still like around, like 7? I would say about 7 years old at the time when we was in Arizona. So all this hopping around and all this and that was, you know, I'd say about between 5 and 7 years old is so about 2 years of just 2 years of just hopping around, and to my mom trying to figure it out and get situated into a house where she could like raise us or whatever. But even then, it still wasn't done after Virginia. She had her episode, and yeah, and then I'll just cut it off from there, and then kind of continue continue the story. I might have talked about it a little bit, but just kind of going over it thoroughly for myself. And, you know, like I said, doesn't hurt to share it again with you guys. But yeah, I hope you know, just going back on them stories, just thinking about it and realizing that, you know, because I used to hate it. I used to hate that I lost my childhood, in the sense that I didn't have, you know, as I got older and having friends, and, you know, everybody was saying, you know, they did this as a kid, and you know, this is how they was raised, and it kind of, you know, was like made me upset that I was robbed of that, you know, or whatever. But I started to realize that, you know, that everybody had problems, and we wasn't the only ones that was, you know, going through that situation. And I just learned to love my mom for the tough decisions that she had to make, you know, to keep her moral compass right or whatever. And so, you know, I had to change my mindset towards those events, and now I truly value those times, because, like I said, it made me who I am today, and I love who I am today and where I'm going, and my morals, and the things that I value and care about. And just remembering it's not about me, you know, not the "oh, woe is me" victim story. That's one of the reasons why I never really told my story, was because I never, you know, wanted to mentally feel and project myself as a victim, because I felt like doing that, that's what I would receive, is, you know, pity, or you know, wanting somebody to feel sorry for me because I had a hard childhood or whatever. I guess because I heard other people doing it or something like that, but I don't know why that was fixated in my head at the time for a long time. But now I'm in a position where I feel like I'm obligated to share my story, and I should tell my story, you know, accordingly to people that need to hear it. And you know, and like I said, I'm happy. You know, I might not have everything or all the materialistic things, but mentally and internally, I'm happy with who I am, and the life that I've lived so far. So that's really what matters. And you know, I'm still working towards, you know, to live, you know, materialistic wise, the lifestyle I want to have and live. So but I'm not torturing myself that I'm not there yet, and just being happy through every moment, and you know, so yeah, that's all I got to say today, and hope y'all take away something from this, and I'll see y'all guys next time. Go out there, spread some peace in people's minds and love in people's heart. Stay chiseled.